What going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Talk. Like I said in the previous episode, the reason I call this show The Talk is because let's say your wife call you and she say, we have to have the talk.
Then you know you're serious.
You know something serious. So basically that's where the name come from. I wanted to do this episodes because with politics going around, I ain't sure necessarily who I'm going to vote for.
Okay.
And I'm sure there are other people like me sitting down the same way. So maybe by the end of these episodes, they know exactly who they want to vote for.
Right.
So right here sitting across from me is Mr. Vaughn Sams, candidate number 6, right?
Correct.
On the PLP list.
Correct.
But before we get into politics, I wanted to speak about business, because as we started, you're an entrepreneur. So I wanted to touch on a few topics. And yeah, you just elaborate. You could elaborate, and I'm going to fling back questions.
Okay. Well, I mean, before you start, I recall we were talking about this since 2017.
Yeah.
So, just to see it come into reality, I must say a huge congratulations to you. I know you're a man that don't quit. Once you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. Even if it take, a few years, a few months, you're going to get it done. So
try your best.
Hats
Thank
off
you
to
very
you,
much.
bro.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the restaurant business.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't a restaurant. At first, it was a food truck.
Food. Okay. You wanna start there?
What made you want to even jump into that industry?
Well, it's a long story really, but long story short, when I graduated university, and even before I graduated university, to be honest, I always wanted to start my own business, but I didn't know what.
Yeah.
I always knew, somehow that some way I would start my own business.
Yeah.
But even before I graduated, I was still trying to find myself, still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do.
Exactly.
And I applied for jobs all over. I know that Eustatius at the time was the hot spot. So everybody was like, yeah, I can work the terminal. So I applied there 2 or 3 times, didn't get through.
Uh-huh.
I applied by the government several times. I applied all over looking for work, couldn't get no work.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to do something. I wanted to contribute. I wanted to make my own money, because, come on, your parents send you to school your whole life.
Exactly.
What you doing still asking them for money? Mm-hmm. So I was able to get a job at Duggan Supermarket after I graduated, and I worked there for a couple months. And, that was a really good experience. I was able to meet a lot of people. I enjoyed the whole aspect of customer service. I think I built some customer service skills there as well. And, it all started one night I was walking home from the gym.
Yeah.
And I was wondering yo, what am I going to do? You always have that moment when you come back from school, you thought after graduation, you're going to be this big,
Exactly.
something. But then, that was a huge shock for me.
Yeah.
And I was just walking home and I was wondering, what does I want to do?
Yeah.
What is it I'm going to do? And I recall a summer I was here during, university studies. You come home every summer.
Yeah.
I was here and I was but why isn't there no ice cream on the island? Nobody had ice cream. No supermarkets, nobody. So I was but why they don't have an ice cream truck on Statia? I mean, it's a small island. You got a lot of children, you got a lot of kids, a lot of people who like to eat. Why you don't have an ice cream truck here? So I spoke to my dad about it.
Yeah.
He was a bit
skeptical.
Yes, of course, skeptical. You're ready to run our business. That's a huge investment and whatnot. But long story short, I think, with my persistence, he was able to gain the courage in me, the confidence in me.
Exactly, yeah.
And, we were able to gather some finances, take a loan and, start the business.
And then start with a food truck.
Yeah, so we went all the way over to Virginia in the States.
Oh, you went far.
Yeah. Well, we found it at a good deal online. So, we went, check it out.
Yeah.
Check out the owner. We also met the owner, pretty good guy. Bobby is his name. So, and the rest is history.
I wanted to ask another question. In pertains to you was first in the food truck.
Correct.
Then you jumped to a permanent location.
Well, it wasn't just a jump.
It was
after a lot of trials and tribulations. Because, we did a lot of events. My mom and I, we started off working in the truck. She's been a huge support system for me, huge inspiration to my life as well. And to be honest, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. Literally, like with the business, because there was a lot of times, and you used to stop by a lot too, and I would tell you, "But I just feel like they're done with this."
Yeah.
And she was like, "No, Vaughn, keep going," and just that mental energy, that mental persistence, it was able to stimulate me. So even on days I don't feel like going, I still go. And at a given moment, I was you kind of outgrow things.
Exactly.
So I felt like we were outgrowing the truck at the time.
Yeah.
And I really disliked having to unload and offload all the time, every day, consistently offloading and unloading, taking out the oil, putting it. It was just too much.
Yeah.
And I always say, I just want to have a stationary location where we could pull up, set up, and operate.
Yeah.
And one of our biggest challenges was finding a location.
I was going to ask about that.
Finding a location is extremely, extremely difficult. You live on station, a place where there's a lot of undivided property.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just crazy. It's ridiculous. So everywhere asks, it belongs to this person, but this person also got things in it. This person, and then if you were to trace the whole history of it, you got people probably all the way in Afghanistan who got a piece of in the land.
Exactly.
So it was just crazy. So I think I was pretty fortunate in asking a gentleman to make use of his land, at least for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And I think he was pretty generous towards me and allowing me to utilize the property.
That's for sure. For sure. And it's a perfect property. It's a perfect spot.
Yeah, it's a nice location.
Because it's right in the
heart of
town. Yeah, so everybody have to pass that road. That's for sure.
Yeah,
whether you're going to the bank, whether you're going, it doesn't matter.
I consider myself a little lucky,
Exactly. Like you mentioned, one of the challenges was finding a location. But in the beginning, you also talk about sometimes you wanted to stop. What was those challenges that make you wanted to stop totally self?
A lot of different things. Well, in the beginning, in starting our business, one of our biggest challenges for sure was finding steady suppliers. Because, we live on an island where we import everything.
Exactly.
And, having to go to St. Martin looking for suppliers, sometimes you're cool with them, you're getting stuff all the time, then this week you can't get it.
Yeah.
And then you got to use alternative. And by using alternative, customers ain't satisfied with the product. So then maybe you have to try to compensate them in some way.
Exactly.
Another challenge throughout the years for us was finding the right team to work with. Because when you hire someone, they have to be a good fit for you, and you have to be a good fit for them.
Exactly.
Because everyone has their different style of working and whatnot. And the reason why I wanted to stop, to be honest, is just I can't even think of it right now. I mean, it's just the feeling. It's just the feeling of overwhelm. Like you got so much stuff like going on. Like a lot of times, what used to pass through my head is why I can't just have a regular job.
Exactly.
And it's so crazy because like when I talk to other people who got regular jobs, when I say regular jobs, like 8 to 4, they're like, I want to start my own business.
Exactly.
So it's like the opposite way around because it's so unpredictable what your monthly income and expenses is gonna be like.
Exactly.
A tire burst today, on the truck, for example, that's a big set of money there. And just these are all unforeseen costs, and it was just really discouraging. Sometimes you call on someone to do work for you, and they feel because you got business, they want to charge the maximum amount.
I have that for sure.
And then it just discourages you, kick you off your feet, and you just don't feel like going again.
I gotta understand where you come from, especially with that.
Because you finally feel like, okay, you got like, $500-600 in the bank, for example, and then somebody does some work for you, and it's like $500, and it's like, it's like, like, what are you doing this for?
I understand exactly where you come from. That how you're speaking it. A lot of people think like entrepreneurship is very easy.
Bro, again, goosebumps and I'm talking about it.
but it's far from
easy.
Far from that.
And I don't know if you realize it as well during the time when you came back here. A lot of people start businesses and they quit because, bro, this is not easy. This is
usually
not easy.
You see people start, they make like 1-2 posts, and then after a while you just don't see anything at all.
That's it. It takes a high level of commitment and consistency to do anything.
What would you say? Like, what would you say to, let me say, someone young and they want to start a business? What would you say is one of the biggest things they have to prepare themselves for? Whether it's mentally, whether just in general, because a lot of people, like I said, think it's easy, but when you're going through it, that's a whole nother story there.
That's something to think about. Repeat the question again?
Like, for example, a lot of people would say, like,
what do you think they have to prepare themselves for business?
Yeah. Whether it's mentally, what's something what kept you going? You say it's your mom, but at the end of the day, you could have said, like, okay, I'm gonna just, I'm gonna just throw in the towel.
Bro, I think it's your gut feeling. A lot of people in the community too. Don't get me wrong, because they got some people who probably wouldn't consume what we sell. Maybe they eat healthy or eat vegetarian or whatever, and they would just come by and say, "Yo, Vaughn, continue what you're doing," and that would just give me a huge boost. Like, especially on the down moments, like, "Yo, Vaughn, you're doing good. Just continue."
Exactly.
Like random people, and for anybody who want to start their own business, I think you have to prepare for making a huge sacrifice.
Exactly.
Especially on your time. Like, you gotta eat, breathe, and sleep this if you're ready for it. And I'm curious to hear from you too. You in business, like what would your?
It has a lot to do with consistency. Like, I had times where, like you said, a lot of times you just want to quit, but then I don't know what stopped me from quitting. I really don't know.
I think it's something from within, boy. Honestly, I think it's something from within. And as you were talking, it reminded me of a quote from one of my favorite persons to look up business why, and that's Mark Cuban.
He
said the only thing you can control is effort, and that's it. And you can't control anything else. You can't control any other variable, but the effort you put in.
Exactly.
And once you're prepared to put in a huge amount of effort and sacrifice, because there's a lot of sacrifices, then I think you're ready for business. And I always start a business if I'm 70% sure about it. I think that's enough to
70%. 70% is a lot. Well, 70% is more than 50% anyhow.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let me just get into this politics because I got a few questions for you.
Okay.
My first question to you is, of course, what made you want to get into politics on a whole?
Okay. Politics for me, as I reflect on the question, because this is a question that a lot of people would ask you, especially during your campaign. And I think it all started back in Antigua. We used to live in Antigua. And at the time we were tenants of VC Bird House.
Yeah.
That was one of the prime ministers of Antigua. I think the airport is named after him.
Yeah.
And I guess in my toddler stage, just, being there and, he would stop by and talking to my dad, my parents.
Yeah.
I would always have this level of admiration and respect for, people, the game. I almost want to say the game changers. In reality, they set policies. Politics is something that could determine how much food you have on your table at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And I think it all boils down to the way I was raised as well.
Yeah.
With my dad being a pastor and always seeing him help people. Just living a life of service.
Yeah.
And as you could see throughout my whole life on Statia, it has always been a life of serving people.
Exactly.
So whether it's from the ice cream truck business to the food business,
it's always
is always about service. Which brings me the most satisfaction, to be honest with you.
So you see yourself having be in politics for a long time?
We can see. We can see.
Another question I have for you is, right now there's 3 different parties.
Okay.
There's Statia, there's DP, and then there's PLP. Why PLP?
That's a good question, and funny enough, someone asked me this just today. And the reason why I chose the Progressive Labour Party is because it reminds me of what the community of Statia or any community should be like.
Yeah.
For example, you would always see members going to funerals, always there for people, comforted them in a time of loss. I've witnessed for my own self, people, the sacrifices they would make for people.
Just
going to homes and, helping people, whether it's financially,
Yeah.
Just the sacrifice, and of course the way I was raised. All of these are things that resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I could recall when I came back here to do my internship, my Statia, they were the first persons to give me an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in 2015, I was able to do my internship at the commissioner's office.
Yeah.
That was at the Godet House
Yeah.
over there. And, from there, of course, it wasn't nothing official.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, for whatever reason. But then, the members of the party put together the little stipend and they gave it to me out of their own pockets.
Imagine that.
So, I mean, it really meant a lot for me.
So then you would say PLP is a party of the people.
It is the People's Party, whether you want to believe it or not. And this is not discrediting any other party, because I think each party have good intentions or should have good intentions.
Yeah.
But the Progressive Labour Party is a party for the people and of the people.
They have a lot of persons, like me, sitting
a lot of persons and different personalities.
Yeah.
In the party as well.
Yeah, and that's true. Yeah.
In
Some
every
big
party.
personality. Yeah. Which is,
Sorry, go ahead.
Like they have persons like me in the community that kind of, I wouldn't say tired, but usually this is like being a loop. It's like the same thing happening over and over and over again. I was on Facebook at the time, and I saw a video from, I think, 1996 or 98.
Where you find that? On
something
Facebook?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. And they were talking about the same problem, a problem that we're still talking to up to now.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was on Facebook just looking for issues to talk about, during, when I was preparing my speech, and also during my campaign. I want to kind of merge the two.
Yeah.
And, bro, the high airfare isn't something new. I saw comments from certain people over 10 years ago on Facebook talking about the high airfare.
Yeah, exactly.
So my question is, why haven't anything been done up to now?
That's why. Like,
is it rocket science?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I guess since you're in now, you would find out exactly what is that caused this whole.
Well, I have an idea.
Yeah.
First of all, we need to realize that winning is a business.
Yeah.
And no one goes into business to lose. You know that.
Exactly.
So, of course, it has to make business sense to them at the end of the day. You heard several talks about the high wages that they compensate their board members and the executive staff.
Yeah.
Okay. That's their company decision.
Exactly.
But I think for a small island, if we were to open the floodgates, and when I say open the floodgates, open sky policy.
Yeah. Competition.
Competition is healthy.
Exactly.
That's the only way.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And like when you go by your grandmother's house, she said to open the doors, let the place breeze out.
Yeah.
let the breeze flow.
Yeah. I understand exactly. What you think could be done to like change the minds of persons who really set on? I ain't too sure if I want to vote. What makes this?
I think people
different?
decide that they don't want to vote because they're just frustrated.
Yeah.
Like I said, people, it's not even dissatisfaction anymore. People tired of being dissatisfied.
Exactly.
So I call it dissatisfaction fatigue.
But then whose fault is it? Is it the people's fault for voting for who they put in, or is it the politicians' fault for certain things not happening, or is it higher?
I don't want to play the blame game. If you were to listen to the speech that I spoke, it's more to do with the system. The system that governs this small island.
Yeah.
And I love the quote from one of the U.S. presidents: "Not what the country could do for you, but what you could do for the country."
Exactly.
So, for example, like who told you to set up these equipment and start Jacquil Imagery? You, right? And that's what you're doing for Statia.
Exactly.
The same for me.
Yeah.
I mean, who tell me to go start, my business, my ice cream truck and restaurant business?
Yeah.
Just for you. And these are things that we're doing for ourselves and also to serve the community. So I think a lot has to do with the individual as well. We have to be enterprising people, especially in this climate.
Yeah.
And the government's role is to help to facilitate an easy transition into whatever we want to do. Whatever the people want to do.
Exactly.
Because obviously the government can't employ everyone. And if the government is responsible for having people employed, then that's where the private sector comes in. And the private sector also plays a large role in employing and elevating people.
Exactly. That's true. And
in this time, we need to make it more attractive for businesses to start. For example, you. I hope you didn't think I'm picking.
No.
Okay.
To use me as an example than anyone else.
Exactly. So, you just started your business for the first time. Well, when it started, at least, give you an incentive. Say, yo, Jacquil, for the first year, no tax, bro. Bring in all the equipment. You don't have to pay the taxes and
I wish it was like that.
At least, that would give you a big boost. It's like, okay, let me try to get all these equipment in. At least I can start my business. I get the first year. To see how it goes, and then after that, hey, when we realize that your business is growing and you're making a little bit of money, it's time to pay your dues, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Which is understandable. But if you don't get no help at all, then that makes it very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, it does.
Let me say, like, you end up a commissioner or something like that. What would be one of the first things you'd want to tackle?
If I was to be the commissioner, I've actually thought about this answer since I was in working in the office in 2015. I think first and foremost, I would call a meeting with all previous commissioners, one-on-one and collectively. And because I think, everyone would have had something valuable to contribute. I think probably that each individual probably working on something important that they didn't get to finish because the term of office was completed.
Exactly.
And if you were 80% there, why, even if is another party stepping in, why can't we just pick up the baton and run with it?
Exactly.
If we really force Statia.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the first things I would do.
That actually smart. That's the first time I never even think on that, to be honest. So that's a really good answer.
Warren Buffett said it best: the quickest way up the mountain is following the path that was there before.
Exactly. You've been in the office for a very long time.
What office?
Not in office as in, but you've been around with the PLP.
With the politicians.
Politicians, learning different things.
Correct.
What would you say is the most important lesson that you learned so far, being there around the politicians?
Most important lessons? People patience. Sometimes you can have members, stakeholders of the community really at you. Like, yo, we need to get it done now. And I don't blame them for that. You're frustrated. Obviously, you need to get whatever you need done. But again, it brings me back to the system that governs this country. Like, there might be a certain law that just not permitting me to do what I want to do.
Exactly.
And then, you can't break this specific law. So obviously you have to wait a period of time before, I could assist you in the way that.
Seeing that we're talking about law.
Okay.
There was a big something that happened 2.5, 3 years ago, where I believe in
that was before my time.
But how did you feel about something like that happening? Not per se like speaking about a specific person, or how do you feel like someone comes in and removes democracy from a situation?
I think it's wrong. First and foremost. I wouldn't go too deep into it. Because like I said, it was before my time. I think my purpose in politics now is to take it from where it is and move up. It's important to know what happened in the past, but I don't want to dwell on it. We can't change the past.
I like it.
That's the reality. And I've read bits and pieces of the Wise Report. And from what I read, I think that the research, it came from some individuals that I think are well educated. However, I don't think that it was thoroughly and holistically done. And when I say thoroughly and holistically done, not enough people got to say their opinions. Not enough people got to say their piece and how they feel. I think it was just a set of individuals, like selectively.
Yeah.
And this also brings me back to while working as the advisor for the commissioner currently. There was a delegation that came here. I think they spent 2 or 3 days from the Ministry of BZK.
Yeah.
And they came and see us on their last day.
Yeah.
And they were asking us questions. And I said, well, how long are you here for? It was a Friday, actually.
Yeah.
How long are you here for when you're leaving? They said, oh, we're leaving this afternoon.
Yeah.
I said, but, you know, I could have taken you around to several different businesses so you could get a holistic view of what's going on. Because I don't want to sit in the office and make decisions without going in the field.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? People, I mean, it's not rocket science.
Exactly.
I don't want to sound like if I'm the smartest.
No.
It's just,
but
you know,
thinking about it.
I can't make a decision. I can't speak on behalf of everybody.
Exactly.
I want you to go around to speak to Tom, Dick, and Harry, form your opinion,
Exactly.
and then make a decision from there.
Which is the best way to go about
Because,
it.
I mean, my experience might not be your experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I had one final question about politics in general.
Okay.
What do you feel is actually missing right now in politics? That wasn't there the entire time. What you yourself bringing new to politics?
My youth.
Uh-huh.
I'm a strong believer, and you know, again, just going back to the party that I'm currently running with.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they mixed it with the youth and experience, because I think that the older heads or the experienced ones has something very tangible to contribute.
Yeah.
They have a lot of wisdom. They have collected a lot of knowledge throughout the years. But we, the youths, we have the energy and probably the technical savvy to carry it out, to execute it. Because back in the day, you know, we were using the hammer, the pong and nail. Now we just go zoop.
Exactly, and it gone in. Yeah.
You know.
Is that a reason why you decided to, like, because it's not per se like a new party, whether like a new name, new something. So is that a reason why you decided to just not you decided to go with an older party just to get the experience and everything?
It's not necessarily an older party.
Yeah. I mean old as in old. I mean like they've been around for quite some time.
No, like I mentioned earlier, just a party that resonated with me. You know, with what I believe in terms of living a life of service for the people.
Which it's good. So then we wrap up that part.
Okay.
It wasn't so difficult, right?
No, not at all. I actually enjoyed the questions.
We're going to a segment right now. I kind of call it like on the spot.
Okay.
They ain't too hard questions, but we'll see how you go through them. Yeah. First question I have: if you had to write a book about your life, what would the title be?
Okay. That's a deep question. If I was to write a book about myself, I think the book title would be "It Is Possible" by Vaughn Sams. Because I believe anything is possible, bro.
That ain't a bad title at all.
Yeah, once you put your mind to it, anything is possible.
That's true. That's
Literally,
true.
So,
and seeing that we're on the topic of books, what's your top 3 books and why?
okay, my top 3 books. I think the first book I ever read in its entirety was The Magic of Thinking Big. The author is not coming to mind right now, and I don't want to call the next author name. That didn't write the book, but it just opened my mind. They have a quote that says, you know, the mind, once stretched, never regains its original proportions.
Yeah.
You know, so it really stretched my mind to be like, yo, you don't have to follow the status quo of life. You could be doing, have whatever you want.
Exactly.
And it really opened my mind to be like, wow, like, you know, I could do
anything you want.
Yeah.
What would be your number 2?
My number 2 book would be The Baker's Son by Lowell Hawthorne. It's a guy from Jamaica.
Yeah.
He went to the States. You know, he grew up in Jamaica, of course, when he was younger. Started his business in baking. His parents had a bakery. Then he went to the States. He was a police for a while. And then, you know, he went on to starting his own business. And right now, it's one of the fastest growing franchises in America right now. It's called the Golden Crust Bakery.
Yeah, I think I heard of it.
And I think if you go in the local supermarket today, you could see the patties, Jamaican patties, Golden Crust. I should lend you that book too.
Yeah.
It's a good,
that
it's
one
a
sounds
powerful book.
interesting.
Yeah,
that sounds
and it's something I could relate to because it's one of us. It's a Caribbean man,
exactly.
And if he could do it, then
Anybody.
yeah.
Anybody. And then number 3. What would number 3 be?
Number 3, I would have to go with The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like that book because it talk about the circumstances in which like you grow up, how it shapes you, how it forms your life. For example, a good example of Bill Gates. You probably heard that he flunked out of school, but he didn't just leave school and became a billionaire. His dad was actually a lecturer at a university, and at an early age, he had access to computers.
Yeah.
So he was able to learn program, before a vast majority of the rest of the world.
Exactly.
So, he was just spending hours and hours, and plus using a computer back then was very, very expensive.
Yeah.
And, he was able to access it for free due to his dad being, affiliated with the university.
Yeah.
And, that really gave him an advantage, an edge on everybody.
Those 3 books I might have to add to my list.
Yeah, you never read
No, none of the 3.
What's your favorite book?
Mine's? Favorite?
Top 3.
Top 3? Number 1 would be the Celestine Prophecy.
I heard of it, but I don't think I read
that one. Talks about like energy, how your energy is, you have to really protect your energy. And
okay, E equals MC squared or anything like that?
Sorry?
E equals MC squared?
No, no, it's more like just energy. If you don't feel right in certain situations, it's because of this, because of that.
So it's more like spiritual.
Yeah, I would say something like that. Then second book would be probably Rich Dad Poor Dad. Probably like
I love that one.
Yeah, that would
and I read it during
answer.
COVID, and it really gave me a renewed.
I think that was after Celestine Prophecy.
Okay,
that's what I read after. So I wanted
that was your second book in life.
Yeah, I wanted to move from energy, then I move on to like business.
Okay,
and then right after that, I read 48 Laws of Power.
I read that one too.
Yeah, I read it about 3-4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a Bible, but
see a powerful guy then.
Nah, each time you read it,
you get a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So you read it at different parts in your life when you're at a different, and it just feed in a different way. So
exactly,
it's just those are my 3 top books that I have.
Right.
Caribbean life or city life?
Caribbean life for sure.
Why?
I mean, that's the best life. City life. I went to Holland. Okay, I was actually born in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
But I went to Holland for the first time, you could say, as an adult in the summer. And to be honest, bro, it's cool and whatnot, big city life, but you felt like a number.
I don't like it either.
Like I was walking, and like cars just moving. They don't care.
No.
Bikes, they would literally trample over you if they have to. And it just felt cold.
Yeah.
It felt cold. Like everybody just busy doing their thing, moving. But in the Caribbean, I could say, "Yo, hey, Jacquil, what's going on? Give me a pound of sugar, no?"
One time.
Yeah. And it's cool. You got your friends, your people, and you feel the warmth. It feels like one big family.
That's true. Hip hop or soca?
Both.
Both?
Yeah,
you only can pick one.
Okay, well,
if you had to only listen to one genre.
It depends on what you're doing, though.
If you had to listen to one genre for the rest of your life.
Hip hop.
Hip hop?
Because I think, I like the old school, because I think there's lessons to be learned in the lyrics, about how to maneuver through life and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So definitely the old school, not the
we on the same mind.
Yeah.
I never grew up like listening to soca like that. So I just gravitate more towards hip hop.
I think if you was to go to school in Trinidad, you would grow an appreciation for soca.
Probably.
It would just grow on you.
Probably. I could understand that because it's around you 24/7. So at a certain point, you must think.
Correct.
One person on or off the island, but it must be someone that you know that you look up to. One, not two.
They got so
one.
many.
One. If you had to pick one person, and why?
Okay, well, I'll just keep it simple. I would say my dad.
Why?
Because I've seen his life. Some people would ask, Vaughn, why you didn't want to be a pastor? I think growing up as a pastor's son, you kind of experienced what it's like to be a pastor, so you feel like you already lived it throughout that career.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy life.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You're on the spotlight. People expect you to be perfect. Even though you're a human being, you bleed the same blood as them.
Exactly.
And then the reason why I chose him as well is because he demonstrates something that, you know, I'm still learning. I think I came a long way. But like, you could be discrediting him and talking negative about him, you know, behind his back.
Yeah.
And he knows about it.
Yeah.
And he would still treat you like a friend.
Yeah.
Like he don't, like he would just discredit it. He would come visit you. He'd pray for you genuinely.
Yeah.
And you
Which
know
is big.
that,
Which is big.
yeah, I
which is
mean
big.
that's something like, imagine you just, you know, said what you said, all the negative energy,
And
and
he still want to help you.
genuinely.
Yeah.
And I wonder like how, like, you know, it's difficult for a lot of people to do. Certainly, it was difficult for me to do in the beginning. I think
Yeah.
I came a long way.
Yeah.
But I really look up to him in that regard for that.
Well, if you're watching right now, you hear a good message.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a broad question.
Okay.
You recently got engaged.
Correct. Recently, a year and change. Yeah.
What would you say? What is the difference in being in a relationship and being single when it pertains to like your business? How do you find like being in a relationship? How does it help you? Seriously committed relationship.
Okay. If I could recall back in university, one of my best friends, he's a doctor now, Murphylis Leslie.
Yeah.
He said to me,
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Murphylis Leslie, MD. Yeah, he said to me, you know, Vaughn, the more women you run, it just goes to show how scattered your mind is as a man.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And to me, it just resonates to me. He said, Vaughn, if you look at all the successful men in the world, you know, Barack Obama, for example, because we love to look at, you know, politicians and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Barack Obama, you know, and several others.
Yeah.
They have one wife. They're in a committed relationship, and you know, at times we tend to praise men for accomplishments in life, but behind every strong man is even a stronger woman.
For sure.
You know
For sure.
And I think I was pretty blessed in finding my person.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just the whole idea of somebody that you could be vulnerable with. You know, someone
That's
you
a
could
that's
share.
a big
and that was difficult for me.
Yeah.
Someone you could experience your highest highs and your lowest lows with.
Yeah.
And someone who just got your back no matter what. You know, win or lose this election, I could go home and get a hug.
Definitely.
So
Definitely. I feel it exact same way. Likewise, same exact way. You just feel more focused.
Yeah. And you put your minds at ease. You
Exactly.
know? You come home, you get some food. No more ramen soup.
Exactly. Another big thing I wanted to touch on, it's not spoke about much in the Caribbean, mental health.
Okay.
What are some things that you think that could be done, whether it's in the island or the Caribbean as general, to like kill the stigma of mental health?
That's a heavy topic. I think I want to go back to a conversation I had while I was in Holland with one of the island council members in Sable. His name is Vito Charles. He follows the principles of being a stoic man. I don't know if you ever heard about it. Okay, well, it all boils down to like don't waste any more time showing what a good man should be like. Just be one.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And the reason why I mentioned that is because we were having a deep conversation. It was like, we see a lot of men acting out, like drinking, excessive running of women, excessive drugs or whatever you do as your vice.
Exactly.
Could that be a symptom of depression in men?
Yeah.
That we just mask?
I feel so.
Because like
I feel so.
we grew up like, yo, we're not allowed to feel, we're not allowed to cry, we don't have no emotions.
Stop lying.
Exactly. Toughen up, man.
Exactly.
And when you grow, the more you grow, is like you try to figure out like how do you deal with these certain emotions, and I think it weighs heavily on your mind as a man, and mentally you could go in a dark place.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
What do you think? You think is certain things that the island should do to make it become more like normal in a certain way.
Absolutely. Let's have a men's club.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
let's talk men to men. You know, I shouldn't be afraid to say, yo, I love you, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, exactly.
Just, yo, I'm
exactly.
proud of you.
Exactly.
Yo, you're doing
exactly.
the right thing. Continue.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
yeah.
big up each other, man. Like I'm a big pusher for, you know, bringing up people. Ain't gonna take much out of you.
At all. Ain't
Just
take
say,
nothing
yo,
out
yo,
of
I'm
you.
proud of what you're doing,
Ain't
G.
gonna take
You know
nothing
what I'm
out of
saying?
you.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
continue,
yeah.
keep doing it. And these little statements, they go a long way.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
And I think that's one of the reasons why he's still around in business, because of these little statements. Of course,
Right.
you get a negative in between, but I think the positive ones outweigh it in a huge way.
You think social media has a lot to do with it?
Probably.
Yeah.
Depends on who you subscribe to on your social media. You know, you could be feeding yourself with a lot of negativity and drama and gossip. And then, of course, it's going to play in your mind. Or you could be feeding it yourself with positivity and uplifting people and uplifting things, and then have a positive effect. So it's how you use it. It's like a knife. You can use it to cut bread, or you can use it to cut a man.
Yeah, that's true, because
So-
your algorithm will only show you what you're interested in.
Exactly.
Most of the time, it might throw in one or two things here, but if you just swipe away, it just wouldn't show up anymore.
Exactly.
I had one last question there for you, just to round it off.
Well, got some rain coming too. It's a perfect timing.
Why should persons vote for you?
I think persons should vote for me because, and I don't want to sound typical, like, yo, because we need change, or there's a change, or we need, change is going to come.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why persons should vote for anyone is because they would have proven themselves in some way,
Yeah.
or shape or form, despite all the odds.
Yeah.
So I'm a strong believer in how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So, like, if you could do it here, you could probably do it here too.
Exactly.
And if you could be doing this for so long without giving up, with having that drive and desire to see whatever you say you're going to do, and you do it, then you could do it also in another field. You could apply that same methodology, that same thinking, that same drive, and you could apply it in something else. And
That's
chances
true.
are you'll be very successful.
Yeah. That's true.
So if you don't have nothing to show for a thing, like, why should I
thing for you.
Yeah.